Okay, we'll start with the base prayer. Om, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Seva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Vajirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nastiki. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunvitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishpadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamni. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisheshu Nivadi Pashyata Destarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay. I don't know, how is your situation, Prabhu? Would you like to read or you want me to read?
I'll read, Prabhu.
Oh, sure.
But please forgive me. I'm eating also.
Oh, then don't worry, Prabhu. Then I will
No,
read.
I can read, Prabhu. No problem.
Then after you finish, you can read after 2-3
It will
verses.
go on for some time, Prabhu.
After half an hour, you can read, Prabhu.
I'll start it.
Oh, sure. If you like to, then that's okay. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sure.
Aho adharma pala nam piva nam bali bhujam iva swamini agham yad dashanam dwarapanam shunam iva. Synonyms and translation. Aho, just look at Adharmaha, irreligion, Palanam of the rulers, Piv Nam of one who is brought up, Balibujam, like the crows, Iva, like Swamni, unto the master, Agham, sin, Yat, what is, Dashanam, of the servants, Dwarapanam, keeping watch at the door, Shunam, of the dogs, Iva, like. Translation and prepared by A.C. Bhaktivinoda Jai Srila Prabhupada. The Brahmana's son, Shringi, said, "Oh, just look at the sins of the rulers who, like crows and watchdogs at the door, perpetrate sins against their masters, contrary to the principles governing servants. The Brahmanas are considered to be the head and brains of the social body, and Kshatriyas are considered to be the arms of social body. The arms are required to protect the body of all from all harm, but the arms must act according to the directions of the head and brain. That is the natural arrangement made by the supreme order. For it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that 4 social orders or castes, namely Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and Shudras, are set up according to the quality and work done by them. Naturally, the son of Brahmana has a good chance to become a Brahmana by the direction of his qualified father. As a son of a medical practitioner, has a very good chance to become a qualified medical practitioner. So the caste system is quite scientific. The son must take advantage of the father's qualification and thus become a Brahmana or medical practitioner and not otherwise. Without being qualified, one cannot become a Brahmana or a medical practitioner. And that is the verdict of all scriptures and social orders. Herein, Shringi, a qualified son of great Brahmana, attained the required Brahmanical power both by birth and by training. But he was lacking in culture because he is really a qualified son of a great Brahmana, attained the required Brahmanical power both by birth and by training. But he was lacking in culture because he was an inexperienced boy. But the influence of Kali, the son of a Brahmana, Prabhuji, can you please scroll up a little bit? Became puffed up with Brahmanical power and thus wrongly compared Maharaja Parikshit to crows and watchdogs. The king is certainly the watchdog of the state in the sense that he keeps vigilant eyes over the border of the state for its protection and defense. But to address him as a watchdog is a sign of less cultured boy. Thus, the downfall of Brahmanical powers began as they gave importance to birthright without culture. The downfall of the Brahmana caste began in the age of Kali, and since Brahmanas are the heads of the social order, all the other orders of society also began to deteriorate. This beginning of Brahmanical deterioration was highly deplored by the father of Shringi, as we will find. In this verse, Prabhupada explains about how Kali has entered uh, through the medium of a, immature Brahmana, and he acted as a medium of her and allowing the uh, Kali into the mankind within this society. Initially, Prabhupada emphasizes the social orders, the hierarchy, how Brahmana has to guide them, and how they are supposed to act like a brain power and in a God conscious manner, Krishna conscious manner. Unlike that, Brahmana here is supposed to exhibit tolerance and they and very good qualities. But here, this Brahmana who is acquired through his naturally with his birth, he happened to take birth in a Brahmana family, and he is trained to become a nice Brahmana. He is trained to become a Brahmana in different aspects of Brahmanical uh, activities. But this little 5-year-old boy he exhibited some sense of tinge of pride by addressing great personality, great devotee like Parikshit Maharaj as a watchdog and crows. And he's trying to uh, Prabhupada highlighted that it is the immature behavior of the little boy, though he has a Brahminical prowess and a little um, mm, the Brahma vachas with which he became so much pride, he actually uh, crossed his limit and he actually misused the Brahminical prowess that he got from his father. Um, he made further, the Prabhupada mentioned that this act of Shringi has made his father upset because uh, he because he because he actually punished a person who is naturally in a situation where he is hunger of thirst and he is the king of the kingdom. All the residents are supposed to honor him and give him the facilities he require, which is a natural expectation. Nothing beyond his expect. I mean, it is a natural to expect. It is natural for us, if a king, to expect water to be dispensed by a resident of that of his kingdom when he needs some water to drink, when he is so much thirsty. But it is unnatural for a brahmana. It is unreasonable for a brahmana to actually hold upon some act done which is unintentional but accidentally done out of emotion, to consider it as a big heinous act and giving him a big curse of death. That is not expected out of this little brahmana. Mm, and addressing a king has to be done properly despite whatever is the situation, because king is considered as a uh, father of the kingdom. So he should be respectfully treating, and he has to take guidance from his father before when his senior Brahmana is there in form of his father, he should have waited for him to wake up from this samadhi, and he could have taken guidance from him before he even act. That could have prevented this grievous sin of punishing unreasonably Prudu Maharaj. And Prabhupada also highlights how the Brahmana community has become how their sole reason for allowing the Kali to enter into the society in a unexpected manner. And this is happening because of the Yuga Dharma, Kali Yuga Dharma. Mm, and he acted as a media there. So that's it. That's what I understood. Please correct if I, and please add if I miss something.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil Prabhuji. And that's good, nice, Prabhu. But Kali Yuga Dharma word, generally we use Yuga Dharma as a word. We use it for example, what is Yuga Dharma for this age? Sankirtanagna, right?
Oh, fine.
Yeah, but when you use the word Kali Yuga Dharma in negative context, I never heard like that before.
Oh, sorry, Babu. I
That,
think I
yeah.
coined words wrongly.
Yeah, the terminology we can be careful. That's all. Yeah,
Okay.
otherwise, nice explanation, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you, Babu.
And it's interesting to see that this Brahmana boy, Sringi, had the powers of Brahminical powers, but he didn't have culture. That is why he acted like this. That's what is discussed. Yeah, we'll go to the next verse then. Yeah. I don't know, Swapna Mataji, would you like to read this verse, Mataji, or otherwise I can read also, based on your situation.
Prabhuji, you can continue. Prabhuji, I just came. I want to listen.
Sure, Mataji. Absolutely, Mataji. Okay, we'll read the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, 18th chapter, 34th verse. ब्राह्मणैक्षत्र बन्धुर्हि गृहपालो निरूपितः सकतं तद्गृहे द्वास्तः सम्बान्धं भोक्तुम् अर्हति. Synonyms. Brahmanai, by the Brahminical order. Kshatriya Bandhuhu, the sons of the Kshatriyas. He, certainly. Grihapalaha, the watchdog. Nirupitaha, designated. Saha, he. Katam, on what grounds? Tat grihe, in the home of him, the master. Dvastaha, keeping at the door. Sabaldam, in the same pot. Bhoktum, to eat. Arhati, deserves. Okay, translation and purport by Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. The descendants of the kingly orders are definitely designated as watchdogs, and they must keep themselves at the door. On what grounds can dogs enter the house and claim to dine with the master on the same plate? Purport. The inexperienced Brahmana boy certainly knew that the king asked for water from his father, and the father did not respond. He tried to explain away his father's inhospitality in an impertinent manner befitting an uncultured boy. He was not at all sorry for the king's not being well received. On the contrary, he justified the wrong act in a way characteristic of the Brahmanas of Kali Yuga. He compared the king to a watchdog, and so it was wrong for the king to enter the home of a Brahmana and ask for water from the same pot. The dog is certainly reared by its master, but that does not mean that the dog shall claim to dine and drink from the same pot. This mentality of false prestige is the cause of downfall of the perfect social order. And we can see that in the beginning, it was started by the inexperienced son of a Brahmana. As the dog is never allowed to enter within the room and hearth, although it is reared by the master. Similarly, according to Sringi, the king had no right to enter the house of Samika Rishi. According to the boy's opinion, the king was on the wrong side and not his father, and thus he justified his silent father. So in this verse, we are hearing the son of the Brahmana boy, the Brahmana boy Sringi, is speaking after he heard about the Parishit Maharaj insulting his father by putting a dead snake around him like that. So in the previous verse, we heard how he was comparing the king as a watchdog, and here it's continuing that. He's calling king as watchdog, and then he's saying that watchdog means he should keep at the door itself. He should not come into the home, first of all. And even if he comes to home, he cannot drink the same water from the same pot that master drinks like that. So like that is really comparing the king to a dog only. and is saying that it is not at the same level like that. So Prabhupada is highlighting two things in the purport. One is the culturelessness of this Brahmana boy, that he was only looking at the situation from one side only. He's looking at it with a false prestige, uh, that there I'm a Brahmana and I have Brahminical power like that. With from the place of false prestige, is looking down on the king. Number one. Number two, he is looking down on the king and saying that king was not supposed to even enter the home and ask for water like that. But not acknowledging the fact that in the Vedic culture, one of the important principles, whoever comes, doesn't matter. One of the important principles is to honor the guest, receive the guest properly, including giving water to them. Like that. That principle he forgot. Of course, there is a valid reason why his father could not do it. He was in a trance. But still, he discounted that fact altogether and putting the blame fully on the other person, here in this case, king. So generally, when we are not also in a humble position, when we are also full of false prestige and prideful like this, then we also don't see the situation from others' angle. We see the situation only from one side only. So that's why we should be careful in making assumptions about others, how we are seeing others like that. So that is one thing we can learn from here. And the Prabhupada is describing one more time in this purport also, that this mentality of false prestige of this Brahmana is the cause of downfall of the perfect social order, like that is describing. So that's the sequence of events we are hearing now, for Parishit Maharaj being cursed. So in few verses, we'll see how Parishit Maharaj receives the curse also. So this is the in essence of this verse, that cultureless boy, because of false prestige, is looking down on the king and is insulting the king even after king left, like that. If anybody has any comments or questions before we go to the next verse. If not, we can go to the next verse. I don't know, Ashish Mataji, I don't know how you're in a position to read, or you'd like to listen today.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Sure,
Just
yeah.
1 second.
Okay, please go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna get my glasses here. Hold on
Oh, sure, yeah.
a second. All right. Srimad Bhagavat 1.18.35. Krishne gate bhagavati shastaryut pathagaminam tadvinna setu nadyaham shasmi pashyat me balam. Krishna gate. Okay, I read that. Okay. Krishna, Lord Krishna, gate, having departed from this world, Bhagavati, the personality of Godhead, Sastari, the supreme ruler, Utpat Gaminam, of those who are upstarts, Tad Bhinna, being separated, Setum, the protector, Adya, today, Aham, myself, Shashmi, shall punish, Pashyata, just see, me, my, Balam, prowess. Translation. After the departure of Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead and supreme ruler of everyone, these upstarts have flourished, our protector being gone. Therefore, I myself shall take up this matter and punish them. Just witness my power. Purport. The inexperienced Brahmana, puffed up by a little Brahma Tejas, became influenced by the spell of Kali Yuga. Maharaj Parikshit gave license to Kali to live in 4 places as mentioned herein before. But by his very expert government, the personality of Kali could hardly find the places allotted him. The personality of Kali Yuga therefore was seeking the opportunity to establish authority and by the grace of the Lord, he found a hole in the puffed up, inexperienced son of a Brahmana. The little Brahmana wanted to show his prowess in destruction, and he had the audacity to punish such a great king as Maharaj Parikshit. He wanted to take the place of Lord Krishna after his departure. These are the principal signs of upstarts who want to take the place of Sri Krishna under the influence of the age of Kali. An upstart with a little uh, an upstart with a little power wants to become an incarnation of the Lord. There are many false incarnations after the departure of the Lord Krishna from the face of the globe, and they are misleading the innocent public by accepting the spiritual obedience of the general mass of people to maintain false prestige. In other words, the personality of Kali got the opportunity to reign through this son of Brahmana, Shringi. Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. You can, if you like, can summarize briefly, Mate, what you understood.
Prabhuji, I'm going to have you explain. I just understand that this age of Kali and this ongoing Kali Yuga is all ruled by people with false prestige, ego, caught up in three modes of nature and material life, and me included. And so the only way to overcome is by serving the Lord Krishna, using the Maha Mantra and going back to Godhead. So, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mate. Hare Krishna. So this verse is also spoken by Sringi, who is the son of the Brahmana, who was insulted by Maharaj Parikshit. So that Sringi is saying that he is justifying what he's going to do, which is that because Lord Krishna, who is the protector of all of us, is gone now, gone out of this world, he disappeared from this planet. So that's why these upstarts have flourished. Like is counting king like an upstart like that. So then now, therefore, I will take up this matter and punish them and just see my power, is saying, just witness my power. That means he wants to take position of Krishna, like that he's saying. That's what Prabhupada is emphasizing the purport. And he's saying that he will punish him like that. And more than that, he's saying, by this I will show my power. That means he's proud of his Brahmanical power, Brahma Tejas, Prabhupada is writing in purport. Because with Brahmanical power, he could curse him, right, Parishit Maharaj. So he is proud of his power. He wants to show his power. And is so proud, he's thinking that he's like Krishna. So that's what Prabhupada is emphasizing in the purport, that this happened because of the influence of Kali. And why? Because Parishit Maharaj controlled Kali's influence nicely by giving you only places of few places only for it to stay. But then Kali Yuga could not enter those places because Parishit Maharaj ensured that that conditions are not there in his kingdom. But however, because this boy, Brahmana boy, became so puffed up, so the is like a hole, is like a gap that Kali found to enter. So that's how he influenced this boy because of the pride that he had, and then acting through him like this. So then that is one point Prabhupada is making. So that 2-3 times he repeats in the purport that Kali got the opportunity to reign through this son of a Brahmana, through this Ringi like that, number one. Another point Prabhupada is making is that there are other people who say, I'm incarnation of Krishna, I'm also Vishnu like that in the Kali Yuga. So that's unfortunate. And because they're cheating the innocent public also, Prabhupada is saying like that. So that is also because of the influence of the age of Kali like that Prabhupada is describing. So essentially we heard in this verse also that this false prestige of this Brahmana boy, which is making him wanting to take the position of Krishna and also wanting him to use his powers disproportionately on Maharaj Parishit like that. So this is a problem generally when we have some abilities or strength or power, but when we don't have purity in the heart, then it will result in pride. So there is a natural consequence. So always we should cultivate purity. So then we can utilize the opulence or ability or skill or expertise that we got in a proper way to serve others and serve Krishna like that. That's another lesson we can learn from this verse and purport. Any other points, any other comments or questions? Okay, otherwise we can
Prabhuji,
go to the next verse.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhuji.
is Shringi trying to address Parikshit as trying to be taking a position of God just for the act of that he's trying to, mm, you know, eh, whatever has happened, putting that snake on his father's neck. Mm. So he didn't acted like a god or anything, right?
Yeah, as you can, I don't know, you purport Prabhupada is making that comment. He's saying, you can see the screen. I don't know you're able to see the screen, or I'll read that sentence.
Yeah, yes,
Prabhupada
Prabhuji.
saying, yeah, he wanted to take the place of Lord Krishna after his departure. That is the main, one of the two themes Prabhupada is making in the purport. Why is he saying that? Because in the verse he's saying, Sringi is saying that Krishna is the protector. And
Mm,
because he's gone, these upstarts are gone. Upstarts started, right?
mm.
Now, therefore, he's saying, that means because
Oh,
Krishna is gone, I myself will take up this matter.
mm.
Normally, it is Lord Krishna is supposed to take up this matter.
Right.
But because Krishna is not there, I will take up this matter. That's what Prabhupada is using to say that he's taking that position like that.
Position of protector, not God.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Position,
Okay.
position protector, and specifically saying Krishna is the protector.
Mm. Got it, Prabhuji.
Right? That's why Prabhupada is going that line of thought that he wants to be like Krishna like that. So in fact, we should also be very careful. Sometimes we also try to take the position of a controller and protector and Krishna also, because we can't tolerate others doing something. We think that we are the authority to take care of them like that.
Mm.
So that's a lesson for us also.
Yeah.
Makes sense, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
sure. Okay, then let's go to the next verse, 118:36. So, iti vuktva roshatamraksho vayasyan rishi balakaha kausikyapa upasprisya vagvajram visasarjaha. Synonyms. Iti, thus, uktva, saying, roshatamra akshaha, with red hot eyes due to being angry, vayasyan, unto the playmates, rishi balakaha, the son of a rishi, kausiki, the river Kausika, apaha, water, upasprisya, by touching, vak, words, vajram, thunderbolt, visasarja, through, ha, in the past. Translation purport by Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The son of the rishi, his eyes red hot with anger, touched the water of the river Kausika while speaking to his playmates and discharged the following thunderbolt of words. Purport. The circumstances under which Maharaj Parikshit was cursed were simply childish, as it appears from this verse. Sringi was showing his impudency amongst his playmates who were innocent. Any sane man would have prevented him from doing such great harm to all human society by killing a king like Maharaj Parikshit just to make a show of acquired Brahmical power. The inexperienced son of a Brahmana committed a great mistake. So, what he's saying, Sringi is saying in the verse, first of all, he became overpowered by anger. Anger is considered to be mode of passion and ignorance, not mode of goodness. Brahmanas are meant to be situated in mode of goodness. But here, he became angry. And then, what is the significance of touching the water here? The significance is that before Vedic mantras are chanted, in this case, is going to chant some mantras to curse him, curse the king. The water is touched for purification, like Achaman, like what we do, like that. In the previous chapters, we heard about how Arjuna touched the water before he releases Brahmastra to retract the Brahmastra. Ashwadhama release like that. Similar thing here happening. And then see, he was with his playmates, his friends, boyfriends, small boys basically. He's playing with the friends. At that time, all this happened. He's saying all these things and he's saying, I'm going to curse like that. So Prabhupada is writing those couple of things. One is that he's actually trying to show off to his friends that see how much Brahmanical power I have. I will curse this king like that. And because other boys are innocent, they did not know the impact of this, what he's doing. If there's a reasonable elderly persons who are intelligent were there, they would have stopped him. Any sane man Prabhupada writing. But because they were also boys, they did not stop him from going further like that. That's the one point Prabhupada making that. Then, so this is a tendency we need to watch out for also. Meaning, like sometimes we do things to show off to others, or under the pressure of being portraying a certain image about ourselves. In this case, this boy is trying to show that I have power. I will not tolerate this insult. I will give punishment like that. Is thinking, right? In our case, it can be some other thing, which are to show off that, see, I can control the situation properly. I can control the family properly. Sometimes we go to a different extent to show that how we are in control of family, just so that we think that we are in respectable position because of that, like that. So like that, we should be careful about how we are acting for the others. So now there's a balance in the situation. One is thinking what will others think also can be a balanced application. So in this case, he's trying to show off to others. That is not recommended. But when we are doing some action, we are meant to understand what is the impact of this action to me, to others around here, and others in the future, like that. We should always consider those aspects also, because we're living in a society. To do our services properly, we need to have a good relationship with others also. So that's a point to consider also. But here what is being shown up is just to show off his skill to others, Brahmanical power to others. This Brahmana boy is, and because he came into the modes of passion, ignorance, that's why is resulting in going into the curse like that. That is the verse. Any comments or questions before we go to the next verse? Okay, 1 second, I'll just underline something. Okay, we'll go to the next verse then. Let's go 37th verse. Okay. Iti lankita maryadam takshaka saptame hani dangshati sma kulangaram chodito me tatadruham. Synonyms. Iti, thus, lankita, surpassing, maryadam, etiquette, takshakaha, snake bird, saptame, on the 7th, ahani, day, dangshati, will bite, sma, certainly, kula angaram, the wretched of the dynasty, choditaha, having done, me, my, tatadruham, enmity towards the father. Translation and purport by Sri Prabhupada. The Brahmana's son cursed the king thus: on the 7th day from today, a snake bird will bite the most wretched one of the dynasty, Maharaj Parishit. Because of his having broken the laws of etiquette by insulting my father. Purport. Thus the beginning of the misuse of Brahmanical power began, and gradually the Brahmanas in the age of Kali became devoid of both Brahmanical powers and culture. The Brahmana boy considered Maharaj Parikshit to be Kulangara, or the wretched of the dynasty. But factually, the Brahmana boy himself was so, because only from him that the Brahmana caste became powerless, like the snake whose poison teeth are broken. I'm just underlining something. The snake is fearful as long as his poison teeth are there. Otherwise, he is fearful only to children. The personality of Kali conquer the Brahmana boy first and gradually the other caste. Thus, the whole scientific system of the orders of society in this age has assumed the form of a vitiated caste system, which is now being uprooted by another class of men, similarly influenced by the age of Kali. One should see to the root cause of vitiation and not try to condemn the system as it is without knowledge of its scientific value. So, in this purport, two themes I can observe. One is this point about how the Brahmana by Sringi, he himself was not a good part of his dynasty, in the sense that he himself was acting improperly like a Brahmana. He is not acting properly to bring glory to his dynasty, the Brahmana boy. But what is he saying? He is saying Maharaj Parikshit is the wretched one in the dynasty. So this is another symptom that we can also observe in ourselves. Whatever faults we have, we see the same faults in others easily. If you don't have faults, we cannot see those faults easily. So here, the Brahmana boy, he himself is a wretched one in the dynasty, so he's considering Parikshit Maharaj like that. So we see the same thing in the 10th canto, when Lord Indra also uh, blames it on Vrajavasis, saying that they're so proud that they're not worshipping me like that. Actually, he's the one who is proud and arrogant, but he calls the same names to Vrajavasis like that. So that is one theme we can see from this verse. Second theme is Prabhupada continuing from previous verses, how the caste system got degraded from this incident, from this wrong action by one boy like this. So that's how Kali's influence produced. And previously, that Sringi was described as not having culture only, but he had Brahmical power. But slowly, as the caste system degraded like this, they also lost Brahmical powers also. So that's what Prabhupada is writing purport. That's why we cannot see Brahmana's words don't have so much power now these days like that. That's why both are lost now. So let me see. Yeah, where are we? 37th verse, right? Let me see. Yeah, then now, so in that, going in the theme, the caste system fell down because Brahmanas are acting improperly like this, right? Then slowly after Brahmanas got degraded like this, other castes also got degraded slowly then. So now people are saying, now seeing this current situation, people not thinking what is the root cause, why this happened. They're thinking caste system is bad. Instead of trying to understand what happened to original caste system based on qualities and work, not based on birth. So if we enact the same caste system again like that, and then ensure that people follow the duties of that particular caste like that, then it can work again. But instead, people are thinking that caste system is messed up, let's take away caste system out. So that's not a right way, right understanding, is the right approach, like the Prabhupada is describing. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, I created the system of Varnashrama. So that means is required, is a good thing for society, so that we can gradually elevate and everybody can cooperate with each other and elevate their consciousness and go back to Krishna and institute in devotional service to Krishna like that. That's the original need and purpose of Varnashrama system, to gradually purify us to devotional service to Krishna. But now the wrong approach they took is caste system is bad like that, instead of fixing the caste system by fixing the root cause. So that's the point Prabhupada is making the purport. Yeah, those are the. Yeah. Any other comments or questions? If we go to the next verse. Okay, we can go to the next one then. 1838. Tato abhyetyasramam bhalo gale sarpa kalevaram pitaram viksha dukkardo muktakanto rurodaha. Synonyms. Tataha, thereafter, abhyetya, after entering into ashramam, the hermitage, balaha, boy, gale sarpa, the snake on the shoulder, kalevaram, body, pitaram, unto the father, viksha, having seen, dukkha artaha, in a sorry plight, muktakantaha, loudly, ruroda, cried, ha, in the past. Translation and purport by Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of his grief, he cried very loudly. Purport. The boy was not happy because he committed a great mistake and he wanted to be relieved of the burden on his heart by crying. So after entering the hermitage and seeing his father in that condition, he cried loudly so that he might be relieved. But it was too late. The father regretted the whole incident. So interestingly, Prabhupada's purport is intriguing. So here what we are hearing, the Shringi, the boy, so far what we heard until this verse was that Shringi heard from his friends that, oh, by the way, this king came and he treated your father like this with a dead snake, like that he heard. He did not see it yet. But just by hearing his friends say like that, he tried to show his power, Brahminical power before his friends, and out of his false prestige, he cursed the king already, King Parishit Maharaj, to die in 7 days with the bite of snake bird. That's what we heard until now. Now he happened to go to the home and saw the actual situation with the father, where a snake is there on father, dead snake is there on father's shoulder. So what is intriguing, the way Prabhupada wrote is, normally we would think the boy is crying because his father is not treated well. That's what we will think from the verse itself. But Prabhupada is putting another angle to the verse also, which is that boy, after cursing, he realized he was not happy after cursing. That he thought, oh my God, I made a mistake in cursing Parishit Maharaj like that. So by seeing the circumstance of his father having a dead snake around his neck, on the shoulders, he took that as an opportunity also to cry, to relieve himself of the burden of that mistake he committed like that. That is the other angle Prabhupada is writing in the purport. So, a short purport. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we can go to the next verse. I don't know, Aradh Mataji, you are in a position to read Mataji, or you prefer to listen today? Either way is okay, but just giving opportunity.
Prabhu, I can read. I just got back, so yeah, I can read.
Okay,
Prabhu.
okay, perfect. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have a question, Prabhuji.
Go
You
ahead,
said
Mataji.
was having a burden. He cried. Is it the Brahmana boy?
Sringi, yeah, Brahmana boy, yeah.
So because I missed this part, so I just want to make sure. Why did he cry, Prabhuji?
Oh, that are two reasons, right? One is he saw his father with a dead snake on his shoulders. Remember, Parishit Maharaj put a dead snake, you know that storyline, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's one. Second thing was, Prabhupada is writing that he realized that he committed a mistake by cursing Maharaj Parishit. Now, after this situation, he is crying for that also, Prabhupada is writing in the purport. That's the second reason he is writing.
Okay,
Makes
but
sense?
he realizes after his father explains about that, right? That you
No,
made a
now,
mistake.
Prabhupada is writing, now itself he realized.
Okay.
Actually, many of us also realize like that, right? For example, I suddenly speak something wrong to somebody, loudly or angrily, for example. Right away, within 1 second, I will realize, oh my God, I should not have spoken like that. I don't know if it happened to you like that. It happens. We also can realize like that immediately. If somebody doesn't need to tell us, oh, you made a mistake like that. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure. You can go ahead, Mataji, if you're ready.
Okay, Prabhu. 1839. Sava angiraso brahman shrutva suta vilapanam unmilya sanker netre drishtva chamse mritoragam. Oh. Synonym and translation. Sa, he, Vai, also. Angirasaha, the rishi born in the family of Angira, Brahman, O Sonaka, Shrutva, on hearing, Suta, his son, Vilapanam, crying in distress, Unmilya, opening, Sankhe, gradually, Netre, by the eyes, Drishtva, by seeing, Cha, also, Amse, on the shoulder, Mrita, dead, Uragam, snake. Translation: O Brahmanas, the rishi who was born in the family of Angira Muni, hearing his son crying, gradually opened his eyes and saw the dead snake around his neck.
Yeah, we can read next verse also if it's okay for you, Madai.
Okay, Prabhu. 1840. Vishrijyatam cha papracha vatsa kasmadit rodishi kenavate apakritam iti ukta sanyave dayat. Synonym and translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Visrijya, throwing aside. Tam, that. Cha, also. Papracha, asked. Vatsa, my dear son. Kasmat, what for? He, certainly. Rodisi, crying. Kena, by whom? Va, otherwise. Te, they. Aprakritam, misbehaved. Iti, thus. Uktaha, being asked. Sa, the boy. Nya Vedayat, informed of everything. Translation: He threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm. On hearing this, the son explained to him what had happened. Purport: The father did not take the dead snake on his neck very seriously. He simply threw it away. Actually, there was nothing seriously wrong in Maharaj Parikshit's act, but the foolish son took it very seriously, and being influenced by Kali, he cursed the king and thus ended a chapter of happy history. So, Prabhu, it's just that misunderstanding by the Brahmana boy. I mean, his father was just like, oh, nothing had happened because he was in trance, you know. So he has a different perspective than his Brahmana son, who is called a Brahmana son, but he's not really a Brahmana. Like the way he acted, it's because of the influence of Kali. So that's
Perfect, Madai. Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. The two things interesting, like one thing you already mentioned is that for the father, it was not a big deal. He just took the snake aside, put it aside. That's all. He didn't feel, oh my God, why is the snake here? Who did this? He didn't go into that mode at all. He just saw some dead snake is there. He took it away. That's a tolerance that great personalities get as they progress in their spirituality. Also, that is one thing I'm noticing. Second thing is the Sringi. You mentioned that Sringi really took it seriously, even though it's a small thing. He took it as such a big thing that he has done. Maharaj Parikshit has done like that, and that's also partly not only because of the boy, only boy's disposition of false prestige, along with influence of the Kali. So those are two factors that cause this behavior. Like that, Prabhupada is writing about in the purport that. So those are two elements. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay. If not, I can read the next one. 41st verse. Nisamya saptam atadarham narendram sabhrahmano natmajam abhyanandat aho batam ho mahadadyate kritam alpiyasi droha ururdamodritaha. Synonyms. Nisamya, after hearing, saptam, cursed, atatarham, never to be condemned, narendram, unto the king, best of humankind, saha, that, brahmanaha, brahmana rishi, na, not, atmajam, his own son, abhenandat, congratulated, aho, alas, bata, distressing, amhaha, since, mahat, great, adya, today, Te, yourself. Kritam, performed. Alpiyasi, insignificant. Drohe, offense. Uruhu, very great. Damaha, punishment. Dritaha, awarded. Okay, translation purport by Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The father heard from his son that the king had been cursed, although he should never have been condemned, for he was the best amongst all human beings. The father heard that the king had been cursed, although he should never have been condemned, for he was the best amongst all human beings. The Rishi did not congratulate his son, but on the contrary, the Rishi began to repent, saying, Alas, what a great sinful act was performed by my son. He has awarded heavy punishment for an insignificant offense. So purport. The king is the best of all human beings. He is the representative of God and is never to be condemned for any actions, for any of his actions. In other words, the king can do no wrong. Okay. Once again, I'm underlining. The king may order hanging of a culprit son of a Brahmana, but he does not become sinful for killing a Brahmana. Even if there is something wrong with the king, he is never to be condemned. A medical practitioner may kill a patient by mistaken treatment, but such a killer is never condemned to death. So what to speak of a good and pious king like Maharaj Parishit? In the Vedic way of life, the king is trained to become a Rajarshi or a great saint. Although he is ruling as a king, it is the king only by whose good government the citizens can live peacefully and without any fear. The Rajarshis would manage their kingdom so nicely and piously that their subjects would respect them as if they were lords, as if they were the Lord. That is the instruction of the Vedas. The king is called Narendra, or the best among the human beings. How then could a king like Maharaj Parikshit be condemned by an inexperienced, puffed up son of a Brahmana, even though he had attained the powers of a qualified Brahmana? Since Samika Rishi was an experienced good Brahmana, he did not approve of the actions of his condemned son. He began to lament for all that his son had done. The king was beyond the jurisdiction of curses as a general rule. And what to speak of a good king like Maharaj Parishit? The offense of the king was most insignificant, and his being condemned to death was certainly a very great sin for Sringi. Therefore, Rishi Samika regretted the whole incident. Nice purport. So what we heard in the verse was that when the father of Sringi got out of the trance and heard the matter that the king has been cursed, so he felt that king should never have been cursed. So normally the boy might have thought, oh, my father will be happy that I cursed this king because he insulted my father like that. But on the contrary, he did not feel happy or congratulate him. Good job, good job. No, he actually repented and saying that you did a sinful activity by punishing the king like that, by cursing the king like that. And especially the two aspects Prabhupada is writing in the purport. So one main thing Prabhupada is giving us is the purport is that how king is a representative of the Supreme Lord, number one. That's why and also is considered best of all human beings. Narendra word is used. So now king as a representative of God in his position to protect the citizens, he might give punishment to some different people sometimes. So even if he gives wrongly punishes somebody, still the citizens are not meant to what is it called? Not meant to condemn the king or go against the king like that, it seems. So king is never to be condemned basically. So that is general king. What to speak about this great Rajarshi? Rajarshi means king that that he is like a rishi also, even though he's with all the appliances, is a devotee. Devotee kings are called Rajarshis. That means they're saintly kings, meaning they responsibly rule the kingdom, but they also have the detachment at the same time, like that. So, so the points are that king should not be condemned in any circumstance. How come my son did cursing like that? That is the first point. That itself is sinful. But second point is actually the punishment that he gave for the insult that he king did is not commensurate with the mistake. Punishment is too big. Like it's like somebody slaps somebody and we say we'll give the death punishment to them. It's like that. So that is the other aspect that father of Sringi is lamenting. That he, first of all, is not supposed to condemn the king or curse the king or punish the king. And also, secondly, is not a punishment even given is also not simple, not a lighter one, is a heavy punishment he gave for a very insignificant offense like that, he's saying. So that's why, that's how Shringi's father was lamenting about this incident, regretting about this incident like that. Not lamenting, regretting about this incident. So any other comments or questions on this verse? We don't have enough time to go through other verses. We'll pause here if there are no other comments. Yeah. Okay, we'll go through. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Let's offer obeisance to all the devotees of the Lord. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kupasindubhyevacha Paitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you, devotees. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Hare
Prabhu. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.